Student and housekeeping Austin Death.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I am Jeff Doss. Let's do this, guys. Start sharing, start commenting. Let us know who is here watching us tonight, as it is episode 279. And we got a lot to talk about. We had a big weekend. We got WAKO USA was happening. There was also a big regional, like WKC Super Regional as well this weekend. There was, we've had a lot of our competitors traveling back and forth. Just got back from Bulgaria that left today for Italy. There's so much going on in our sport, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Start getting together right now, thinking about your top 5 ridgehands of all time for our top 5 segment. Start thinking about that. That's going to be fun. And start sharing, guys. We have a lot of fun stuff, and it's going to be fun. How was your weekend, my friend?
The weekend was good. The weekend was it was interesting. So I don't know if I told you this, but I'm Zachary's coach for his basketball team.
Oh yeah.
And nobody knows what the hell they're doing, right? But I will give it to him. Like I pretty much I coach all of his stuff, whether it's t-ball or basketball or whatever it's going to be, just like I do a karate class, right? I was like, listen, you guys are going to learn a little bit of martial arts structure. We're not doing, even though we're not doing martial arts, right? And so we had some fun with that. But there's these 2 kids on the team that Zachary's one of them, and the other kid's Lorenzo, they will get every single rebound on the team, right? And so at one point I took them out. I had to have both of them out just because I was rotating. That's kind of what you do, right? And no, you could have just basically handed the ball in one of our other players' hands. Basically, they were not getting it, right? It's just Zachary and Lorenzo. They're the only 2 getting them. So that's what I'm doing, But then everything's amping up on the DJ side, like this weekend and beyond, because that's when things really start kicking off for the year. And then next weekend is St. Patrick's Day weekend. You do anything for St. Patrick's Day weekend? Do you do anything for St. Patrick's Day?
I don't. Trying to decide what I'm going to do that weekend anyway. So I don't know. No, I don't ever do anything.
Yeah. Lindsay and I we've never gone out for St. Patrick's Day. And then we're lining things up. I didn't even think about it. Trying to figure out let's do a date night, and okay, let's do that Saturday. And then I realized that's the Saturday St. Patrick's Day weekend. Is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? I don't know what's about to happen right now. I mean, I'm no amateur, but I don't know if what I'm about to walk into is going to be a good thing, because I realized we've never gone out for St. Patrick's Day. I can't remember if I think I did, when you're 23,
Right.
But do you remember it? No, because you were 23 and because you participated like you were 23.
Or like you were younger. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. That's great point. Astute observation.
Yeah. Oh man. That's flashbacks. Anyways, yeah, so sounds like a good weekend. For myself, I was in Ohio for Kumite Classic and WAKO National, so we're gonna get right to that soon.
Yeah, we were paying attention to a lot of that.
And then got home Saturday night, right before midnight. I drove back after the tournament, so that was about 6.5 hours. And then we had a good Sunday.
I was gonna say, please tell me you didn't do a tournament on Sunday.
No. We didn't stay for the tournament or for anything as far as the Arnold stuff. Just got home.
You getting back late Saturday night. If you were to say but then we went back and did a local tournament on Sunday, that would not be the craziest thing you've said.
No, 'cause
Although it's
I've
crazy.
done it before. I've done it before.
I
yeah.
know. That's why I had to ask.
Yeah. I've done
I'm
that
glad
before
you didn't.
with Ohio. Like I've drove to Ohio, did a tournament, did a seminar, drove back, and then went to like in town and did a seminar that day or something for like a camp or something like that. Like it's wild. But yeah, so you know, a great weekend overall. News outside for you guys who are fans. John Cena turned heel last night. Okay. If you don't know what heel means, he's a bad guy
How
now.
can you be the bad guy?
He kicked Cody Rhodes in the balls and joined sides with The Rock. Yeah, bro. It was dramatic. It was crazy. The world
This is nuts. I thought he's supposed
the
to hate the
wrestling
Rock.
world, the wrestling world is
This
in
is
shock.
nuts. I'm
Yeah.
not even like an avid wrestling fan, and I know that this is nuts.
Yeah, it's insane. It's kind of like going back to like 1996 when Hulk Hogan turned heel. Because
When he did the NWO thing.
yeah, because this is John
Oh.
Cena's like farewell tour. He is retiring after this. So you think, okay, well, he's got 10 months left. He's just gonna go out, high-fiving everyone, kissing babies, shaking hands, everyone remembering the old stuff. Oh no. He's going to WrestleMania versus Cody Rhodes as a bad guy, not talking to anybody. Yeah, it's intense. So it's going to be fun. It's WrestleMania season. Lots going on. So I'll nerd out on that for a little bit. But yeah. Sam,
That's
yeah,
wild.
I agree, man. It's wild.
Oh, speaking of wrestling, though, I'm going to tell you. So, and I brought up Zachary. So, when I told him, this is when we had Ernest Miller on.
Yeah.
And I was like, Zachary, do you want to see who we had on the show the other night? And he's like, yeah. So I said, I mean, he's really big. He's a big, famous guy. He's like, I want to see. So I show him, and then I showed him the feliner, his move.
Yeah.
He's like, Dad, this is so awesome. You see where he kicked him in the face? That's the way he talks. That's the way he talks to me. He talks to me like he's a 17-year-old bro who's about ready to go into a college frat. Right? Dad, you see what he did?
See what you did, Dad. Yo.
Yeah. And then to make it worse, like he's getting into these things. Like he just got into like football cards.
Right.
So, Dad, check out my cards. Do you know who JJ Watt is? Yeah, Zach. I know
Yes.
who JJ Watt is. Who's this Tom Brady guy? Okay. Just don't say this stuff out loud. All right. Is this card any good? Yeah, just don't take it out of the sleeve. Just keep it there. I gotta do that. I gotta do things like keep it there. Don't touch it.
That's my daily life with explaining sports to Shelly. So he's like, I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. Like, wait, what? I think even some kids, when you tell them, hey, we're going to the Arnold Schwarzenegger like expo, who's that? Is that supposed to be a big deal?
Well, yeah, think about it.
Yeah.
Arnold, remember that movie, like the last, what was it? Hit the Last Action Hero, or what was it that he did?
Great movie.
Great movie. And I think that came out in like the mid to late 90s, right? Mid 90s, like 96 or something.
94, 95, something like that. Yeah.
That was kind of it. That wasn't it for him doing movies, but as far as like him being a big deal,
right,
was 30 years ago.
Right. True.
If you're 35, you have no idea who this guy is. Right?
So
why would a kid know?
Yeah. True. It's true. All right, guys. So we had a big weekend. Lots to talk about. WAKO USA Nationals. But first, before that, I want to talk about the return of Kumite Classic. So if you don't know, Kumite Classic was back in Ohio as a part of the Arnold Classic and hosting the WAKO Nationals. So it was all a big thing. We had a great time. It was a big venue, 52,000 square foot, that had 2 rings for kickboxing. It had, I guess, 8 rings for sport karate. It also had 2 rings for, wait for it, Star Wars lightsaber fighting and all kinds of other crazy things that they were doing there.
What?
Yes, they had these guys were taking it intense, bro. Like it was insane.
Hold on.
And they were dressing up. They had different types of competitions where they fought one sword versus two, one-on-one partners, full on like you know, putting yourself into scenes of the movies. And then there was one thing where this guy had like a Nerf gun and he like shot the little balls out and you had to like hit them like this with two swords. Yep. Exactly how silly I look right now. That's what it was. And then there was some form stuff with the swords, but with the lights and stuff. Chelsea Clark did a sword form. So yeah, it was a lot, 10 karate,
Bill
2
is in.
LED saber, and then 2 Chinese. Yeah, I was getting to the Chinese, which Singao was running.
What is the Chinese?
He had a
Chinese.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Bill, how I gotta know, Bill, how did the lightsaber thing come to be? Because is there like a demand for that?
Yeah. So didn't I tell you, or this was years ago? Remember I told you I got contacted by the local lightsaber group that wanted to use my dojo for a
No,
place?
I
Yeah.
would not have forgotten that.
Yeah, I told you about this. You and Travis, man. I told you guys about this.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe.
I mean, it's been like 5-6 years, but I think it was like right after COVID. So yeah, it was wild. So yeah, I mean, there's a demand for it. So yeah, it was, let me tell you, what was cool about it, what I liked was that they were very interactive. They had
I love the way Bill apparently. Good. That's good.
They had signs up and posters up advertising some of the things they did. And they were just like, hey, come and bring a friend and try this. We will do it with you. We will teach you how to do it. We'll play, with that. It was a lot of, a lot of fun, right? They even had this thing where, hey, learn a nunchuck form and perform it here, which I thought was cool. So I tell you what, they were going just as late as the Kumite and everything else was, right? So yeah, it was pretty cool. I thought they did a good job. So that was going on. Yeah, Mark, I hope you guys had a great tournament. Mark had the King Neptune in Junior Beach. I had 6 of my students out there. They had a great time. So keep up the good work.
Still
Also
waiting on our hookup with Chuck, Mark. We're still waiting.
We're waiting on that. And then, yeah, they were smacking the heck out of each other, Bill. They were.
All right, hang on. I gotta lean into this. So wait a minute.
Oh man.
The thing about what we do is we want people to take us seriously, because people who have never seen sport, martial arts, sport karate, they've never seen that competition, and you see it, like, we understand how awesome and difficult and hard it is to do, because it is, but table tennis is hard to do, right?
Really hard.
It is extremely hard. And I can look at that and go, oh crap, I cannot do that. Right? Easy to see. Okay. What you want is people to take you. You don't want it to seem like it's a joke, right? Like,
it's a whole nother.
So like, but wait a minute. So like, even with like the whole thing with like the women's final at the Compete Nationals,
right?
I'll
get into that later.
That was kind of like, all right, it seemed to people watching, it seemed like it was a joke.
Right.
Okay. But when you're actually trying and you're giving everything you got and you're at your highest level, if it looks like this is just a joke, this is a nerds, right? Yeah. Then it's like we all kind of look like a joke. And that's the thing. It's like nobody wants to look at this and go, shut up, nerd, right? Because that's what it kind of seems like. Seems like 10 points power fire, right?
All right, stop. All right, anyways, listen, I know there's a big...
I'm right.
Martial arts festival. There was a lot of different...
Not martial arts.
That is kendo and sword is martial arts. It had a little flair.
Kendo, yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Listen, I get it. Let's move on.
Let's hit ping pong balls with our foam sword. Get the heck out of here.
Oh God.
Anyways, I'm gonna blow some ping pong balls at you. Try to hit them. Look like this, right? What is
it?
That?
Was armored. It was a lot of armored fighting. Yes.
Armored. Okay, now armored seems cool.
Oh,
like
Mark's
actually
talking
like
all kinds of Chuck stuff. So here we go. But All right. Oh yeah. Good luck to everyone doing Starcade this weekend. That's going to be awesome. Murphy always does a great job. All right. So more about Kumite. I tell you what, man, when I walk, it's been 7 or 8 years since the last Kumite Classic. You know, we walk in Thursday to go get weighed in. And tell you what, man, even though it's in Ohio, it looked like the Kumite Classic of old. And so it was really cool.
Cool.
And, you know, they had everything set up, you know, all the old stuff that you remember from the Kumite Classic that were classic to us. So it was awesome. They did a great job. It was cool to see some of the parents back from, you know, years ago that I grew up, coordinating their rings or, judging them and things like that. And there were just so many cool things, people to see, always loving to see Rocky, who's from California, who's always in the past, always been the MC. And this time he was running the tournament. So it was awesome to see that coordinating, great to see the Canes there. Some of my friends I haven't seen in a long time, got to sit and talk to Jerry Roberts for a while, which is great.
Oh, that's cool.
And then, Marty Eubanks was there, got to hang out with my friend Brian Arrington. The Floyds were there. There's so many. I mean, got to hang out with Dewan Brown. Got to see.
I heard Dewan was there.
Got to see and talk to and watch fight little Larry Tankston Jr. Yeah, little Larry. That was fun. So many great.
Not so. We should call him Not So Little Larry.
Right. I just kept making a point to call him, let's go, little Larry. I was like, really? Come on. Everyone's like, he's grown a lot. I was like, he's been that high. When he was 8, he was that big.
This is true.
But so it was fun in that. Some of the judges that I hadn't seen in a long time, like Jose Rivera. So many great competitors and people from all over. I tell you what, it was a lot of great talent. And I just think, overall, it was a great return for Kumite Classic. And I would tell you what, I was surprised. Like I was excited about the turnout. It was big. So I didn't know what to expect. And so congrats, Bill, and the whole team for everything you've done, man. Keep it up. Are there some ups and downs with things? Yeah, we always have that, right? We may talk a little bit about that with WAKO USA, but I think what was cool to me, so some of my favorite things, Friday night they had like the weapons for WAKO, and then they also had light contact and kick light. While they also started earlier, the ring sports were going on, and the ring sports was kind of separated on the other side. That was running. They had a good turnout for that as well. But man, I tell you what, like last year Nationals was in Florida, right? And I remember I told you guys how big it was, like a huge growth for a national tournament. WAKO Nationals in the U.S. has not been that big for years, right? And that there was a lot of, and probably the biggest divisions were the light contact and the kick light. And the thing is, honestly, in some way, it was the same thing here, but we're talking about the whole opposite, side of the East Coast, right? From north to south. So to see that consistency and that want for that type of fighting with different people was great to see. This is where I feel we can grow WAKO USA, but also grow the sport with continuous fighting, which light contact, and really even more, I think more people like the kick light, because we can really grow and get a lot of the MMA schools or kickboxing schools and build their way up, Damian Rodriguez, Chris Walker, El Java. That is one of the greatest 3 people to explain the rules to the coaches and the competitors than anybody, because they're just hilarious and fun. And it was just fun, right? And I told all 3 of them, I was like, this helps like so much. This like makes this exciting and fun, not so hoity-toity, no, it was fun. And you're getting to see that. But again, one of the best things that Damian said was that if they get knocked out now in this, they're going to never get to the ring to full contact because they're going to have issues that are going to make it to where they're not allowed to go there. Or they're
Bingo.
like, all right, this, if I already got knocked out in this, then what's the point? And honestly, remember I told you I went to the IKF thing, right? And
Yeah.
IKF is pretty much similar to this. They had some different styles of it. The IKF, in a lot of ways, I'll be honest, WAKO had stronger and harder techniques, but there was more still no knockouts, really control overall. You know, there was some, of course, in the kids, sometimes you see some things where, you know, because some, you know, it's just a little different. But in the, but even for something that was like IKF has full contact and pro fights, I still thought the contact was more solid in WAKO, but it was also more controlled. So, and the judging and the scoring was fair because it was with the tickers and making sure, okay, that was a clean point.
Yeah.
You know, you punch someone, it has to be balanced. You can't hit and bounce off and get a point. You can't hit through an arm and then brush the chest, get a point. So some of these scores that people don't realize, if you know, it's really like a round for 2 minutes, maybe like 5-3. Like it's not like where back in the day where it'd be like 28-32. Like, wait, what? How did you score that much? That none of it. You scored strikes and punches, not scores, not things that actually scored. So I tell you what, having Damon Rodriguez as a center and having Chris Walker as a center, gold, man, was awesome. Rocky, man, it was so good to see you, talk to you, man. You did a great job. Proud of you and everything, man. Keep that up.
Well, I think when you have those guys, you could put them in any position that you want. Well, any position that they'll be a part of, I think is a great one, right? So like when I remember when I had talked to Rob years ago about Chris Walker, I'm like, listen, put him in any position that he wants to be in. If he wants to be a coach, let him be a coach. If he wants to be a ref, let him be a ref. But tell him, I'll take you in whatever capacity you want to be involved, right? Because he's a talented guy with a lot of respect from the sport with high level athletes that also seek him out for coaching as well.
Yeah.
And he's an athlete, a skilled one.
Yeah.
Now, look,
listen.
if Chris said, hey, I'm putting my name in the hat, I'm fighting. You go.
He did.
Shut up.
Yeah, he judged all day, centered, was the head ref for the whole tournament for the WAKO side, and then put his gear on at the end of the night at 10:30 at night to fight Kick Light. And there was no one in his division, so he fought the heavyweight guy.
Of course he did.
Probably giving up 60 pounds, and they had an awesome fight. And then the next day, I think he fought like 5 or 6 people in point to do it. So, yeah, he's going to Dubai. So, yeah. So, it's pretty awesome. I'm excited about going to Dubai. You know, again, I'll be there for 4 of my divisions. That was a lot of fun. Just and also I got some. It's going to be cool with like some of the people that were there for forums for us. You know, of course, Rashad definitely does that.
Yeah.
You know, also one of Tim Conkel's students, Drew, will be there. So we're coming up with some ideas for, you know, Rashad and I doing possibly, you know, teaming up. So
what?
Yeah. So it's going to be cool.
Does WAKO have team?
Yeah, they have team forms, a couple of different versions. So yeah, so that should be interesting.
But see, like that's something where it's like, this is cool, but it's like, listen, forms today is fighting 20 years ago, right? You and Rashad are going to win gold, all right, in Dubai.
I mean, you never know.
Okay. Well,
I mean, listen, I'm not going unless I'm trying to win, so I'm not saying that. So yeah, but
I'm not trying I'm not trying to shit on other countries in their skill level or in their athletes as far as competitors and forms. Sometimes you just got to call it how it is. Not if their countries, I don't care which one you name, their best 2 competitors,
right,
wouldn't crack the top 10 in any division in an ASCA tournament. Nope.
There are
No,
some.
they wouldn't.
Yeah,
No, they
there's some.
wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. Because if they would crack a top 10, they'd go for it. You telling me if you're in, let's say you're in England, because they have got some good forms competitors, right? They do, all right? But if any of them really felt like I could crack the top 10, why wouldn't you go to the U.S. Open? Imagine if you won the U.S. Open.
There has been, and the girl from
They
England
ain't
won
gonna do
2 years ago,
it.
and
Come
actually she won. She got second or third this past year. I'm just
Okay.
telling you, there are people. So don't do it. So again, here's the problem that I have with everyone that says that, and then they just always stay in NASCAR their whole lives and never go.
Well,
any-
now that's also a good point.
And so if you want more opportunities and something different, then go overseas. It don't matter if the competition is going to be as good. You
You're
have
right.
to
You're
be the
you're
person
absolutely
that
right. You're right.
starts that. Because here's the deal: if that would have happened, if all of Americans would have said that, then we wouldn't have what we have right now. Because if
You're
Raymond and them would have
100%
said,
the
"Hey,
truth.
we didn't want to go over there, forget that. We had the best fight in here," then that growth wouldn't have happened. There's so many opportunities overseas, not just for fighting, but also for forums, seminars, all kinds of things, ways to grow your brand, your social media, so much. So someone's got to go over there and do it. I've been doing this for 30 some years. I want something different. That's why I want to compete more internationally.
I think you should.
This
I think
may
it's
be
fantastic.
this may be my last time doing open style forums, right? But like I said, I'm going to get into the sport Pumse side, and most of that, the reason why I want to do that is to go overseas, to go to those things, right? I want to help also WAKO forums grow, right? There's so many things, right, that are going on. So I just feel like there's lots of opportunities to do that. When you're talking about the creative forum sites, yeah, there are, but there are also some high level people from Guatemala and Mexico that are pushing the sport forward. There have always been some really good competitors from Germany and Italy and England. But again, we know that this is our sport on our side of it, right? But you have to if you want to be, I mean, everyone has different goals, right? Everyone
Sure.
has different goals, right? But you got to go out there and push it.
Okay, I agree with you. And
I'm talking crazy like what? Oh, you think I'm saying like I'm retiring? Oh, no. I'm not saying I'm retiring. No.
yeah, here I go again, Obeda. You're right. I know. I get myself. And Bill, I actually do agree with you about Raymond creating a lot of the growth, because when he did start doing, I don't want to say like he was the first one to go, because he wasn't. All right. However, when he started going overseas as much as he did, he's such an enigma, and he's such a charismatic entertainer and competitor that people are naturally drawn to him and and intimidated when you got to fight him. Like, they are intimidated by him.
Right.
But even at the time when he was doing that, like, he has such a charismatic way of doing it that he understood who he was and what his competition was, that at that time, 20 plus years ago, he would do it and would be nice about it, because he would know when he's fighting somebody who doesn't know that they don't know,
Right.
he can be nice about it, right? And like, you're right, like, people are just drawn to that, and because of that, they're like, man, I gotta be like this guy. And then clubs completely changed the way that they would do things. Have him in for seminars, and then boom, everybody wins. The world wins.
Well, I mean, we're seeing it now with the Bailey Murphy just train, right? Just like, it's insane,
What are we going to see? Think of that. What are we going to see in 20 years? Now, like 20 years later, because from what he's putting in now, right?
Right.
But that's the cool thing, is it's not just Bailey Murphy, right?
Right.
There's a lot of guys like that.
Yeah. Well,
I think
perfect.
like one of the guys who like I've watched, like I've got a chance to talk to quite a bit, but who I think is like who gives a fantastic seminar is oh gosh, I've mentioned him so many times. Gregorio DeLeo, right?
Yeah.
So like so it's not, that's why I say it's not just Bailey. Like there's so many guys.
Well, there's so many. Like Devin is traveling all over the world right now.
Devin's doing a
He
lot.
did a seminar there, and everyone enjoys it. Talking to so many of the guys there. Mason Bumba left today for Italy. Devin did. I think Tyson and Tyreek might have. I know Bailey did.
Which
there's
is the
so
tournament
many,
in Italy that's happening right now?
The World Cup. I think
The Point Fighter Cup.
Yeah, Point Fighter Cup. I think.
Yeah, that's right. That's
So and I think there's
wanna see
high
that.
level competitors from Canada going out there. Like Claire is all over the place judging at all these big events now. So it's definitely cool. Yeah.
And what some people don't understand is like, go to these tournaments. Like if you feel like, man, I don't know, I'll go next year. You don't know. You
Right.
don't know if that tournament's going to exist, right?
Right.
Especially some of these, like you just said, like don't just do NASCAR. Don't just do anything, right? But even some of these NASCAR tournaments, like you got to look at this and go, is it really going to be around that much longer? How are we so sure?
Right.
All right. But like I always thought, like I would go to the Austrian Classic. Well, that ship has sailed. That's gone forever. Right. And
Irish Open looks like
Irish Open will just be stories.
Yeah.
Or even like we talk about it often, that Rolex Challenge, that's never coming back. Right. So people should do new things, and it should be about the experiences, like what you're mentioning right now.
Yeah, dude. I mean, if I get to go to Abu Dhabi, why would I pass that up? I may never have that happen again. So
Dubai. You're going to Dubai. I'm guessing you've never been to Dubai.
No. So yeah. All right, I want to go back to Friday and I'm just going to say who stood out at WAKO Nationals, and I'm just going to talk about Friday and the light contact side, and and then we'll get to Saturday. Portugal WKC was great. Yeah, Marty's saying bluegrass is good. He's been talking about that, man. He talked about that on the show. Remember? Marty was there. He had a great time.
There's a couple tournaments I do hope come back. Bluegrass,
and
obviously New England Open. I hope both of those come back.
Right. And maybe Grand Slam will come back too. So
yeah, boy.
All right. Who stood out at WAKO Nationals? So for me, Friday night, there were a lot of great competitors. I mean, the junior side, I tell you what, man, like seeing like Xander, Edie fight all the different styles this weekend was awesome. Seeing all of the Diamond G3 and Legend kids fight light contact, fight kick light, fight point. I mean, it was amazing. Guys, whoever you saw on that junior side show out on Friday night, put them in the comments. For me, the first person that it was just like, wow, this is great, was watching little Larry Tankson fight Continuous, and like literally, like he killed it, right? And
that's what he's going to be his most dangerous.
Really, the first like 30 seconds, it's like, oh dang, this is going to be a long 3.5 minutes for this guy. And the thing is like Larry's still a kid, all right? Dewan's like, please listen to me. Please listen to me. Punch him to the body. Go to the body. And he's punching him in the head. Like, do not get disqualified because you're, unfortunately, he got the bye. So the other guy was a little tired. We're talking about the heavyweight division. He already had a fight. So, but it was cool to see Larry back in that. That dude is a character. And, it was just a blast to see him. Also, for me, my favorite might be one of my favorite continuous fighters of all time now. Maybe one of my favorite kick light fighters of all time. And Chris and I talked about him on our main group. And it is Andrew Aviles. All right. Andrew is from WAKO Villanueva School, Team Alchemy in El Paso, Texas. Okay. This year, most of the time, WAKO has a big group out. And I'm guessing he has mostly kids. So I guess they just decide not to take this year off and not do Pan Ams and focus on the Worlds. But Andrew came, and he is he's one of their only adult competitors right now. And he does all three: kick light, light contact, and point fighting. And his light contact and kick light is the perfect example of how to take your sport karate point fighting style and apply it to kickboxing, and apply it to boxing, and apply it to everything. His footwork, his movement, his timing, him staying super relaxed. Like literally, it's just fun to watch. And the thing is, Andrew's great at it, but honestly, all of all of WAKO students are like this. They all can do that, right? So he, did a great job dominating his divisions. Same thing last year, at nationals, same thing. And I remember watching him as a kid growing up in the NBL and winning in continuous and winning in point. So Andrew is one of my favorites to watch. He's been, for a long time traveling, doing WAKO worlds. And so definitely one of my favorites to watch. He's just a good young man. So keep an eye out for him, guys. And I think he made it to that semifinals last year for one of those, either kick light or light contact. The last time he was at Worlds, but yeah,
Well,
man.
and that's the hard part for competitors who fight the point fighting style. When they go into a kick light or continuous style, is we are explosive.
Yeah.
It is go and go, right?
Yep.
Some point fighters styles will translate very well, right?
Yeah.
John Curatolo style. I like myself some John Curatolo.
Yeah.
His style, actually, he'd be a pretty damn good kick light.
He was talking to, because he was
should.
judging, and he was talking to some of the people that were there watching, and was explaining that he's like, really, I would love to do this.
He should do it.
Because I kind of stayed in my realm that I'm good at, but I would like to see him in kick light or light contact. That would be great.
Well, because you think about it, like he's so patient.
Yeah.
Right. And then like when he makes the decision to like be explosive and be really fast, like he actually is very fast when he decides to do that. He's deceptively fast because you don't see it very often. Like he's not like a Robbie Lavoie fast. Robbie's fast every moment of the match.
Correct.
Robbie's also a good full contact fighter. Right. So I don't want to make it sound like Robbie's not a good full contact. He is.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
But sometimes when you're fast like that all the time, as long as we're talking about super lightweights, let's talk about another one like Lana Reynolds. All right. I don't think his style, right? If you use him, take him. I don't think his style, if you just immediately went pluck, now you're in like kick light or continuous, like that, his style won't immediately translate to being successful because he's fast all the time and has to be explosive. Like you better have an endless motor. Like you can never get tired, right? Or like it just like you die out, right?
Yeah. Right.
So, but the ones who can utilize their skills, right, are really conditioned and can do that. Like, man, that's going to be great, right? So, I mean, there's plenty of athletes that I think would be fantastic. I think I have no info if he would ever do this, but come on now. I think Avery Plowden should do a full contact kickboxing fight.
Oh yeah.
You kidding me? He looks like a cartoon character, right? He's so chiseled, right? Exactly. He looks like a freaking cartoon character now, right? It's like, listen, yes, we remember when you were 16 fighting in a middleweight adult. We get that. Now you're like a mammoth of a man. You have shoulders that are twice as wide as you were when you started, right? You're more skilled, right? You're more conditioned, and you're like a champion of champions. Wouldn't that be awesome to see, right?
Yeah.
But people got to want to do this too, because people got to know, like, hey, someone's gonna try to, rear leg roundhouse kick you in the head and knock you out. Like that could be a thing,
right?
But
well, I mean, there's so many great people that were there, so it was a lot of fun. Those are the ones that stood out. And then on Saturday, I'm gonna be honest, like, dude, Bill's students, all of them worked hard, all of them went at it. They were doing everything, the Kumite side, the WAKO side, everything. So it was awesome to see that. And all of them have continued to grow. So great job to that. Man, I mean, we have a lot of great competitors either going to the Dominican Republic or going to Dubai. The junior side were so many great athletes that we talked about. Pia was there again and then she also didn't just do her point five, she also did her forms as well, this time with the creative and the musical forms. So it's going to be really cool to see how this all goes. I mean, the thing I think people mess up with, especially in the US side, is that they don't come the year that it's the Pan Ams. Oh, we just want to come to the world championships. To me, I think that's a mistake. Go and take care of that. Use all these experiences, right? Because here's the deal: the Europeans, they don't do that. They go to all of them. It's just as big. It's a European side. So I think we need to continue to push that and those opportunities, but also all that comes from education, and the more that it keeps growing. So on Saturday, man, it was a fun tournament. Lots of great competition. I tell you, Team Army Strong had a big group out there. We had a good sized group. Revolution did. My son Wesley fought Friday night. He had some great kick light and continuous fights. I had one student who did his first tournament there. His parents were like, "Hey, we never been to Ohio, so let's go." And he got 2 seconds, some big divisions. He won like 3 fights and then lost for first and second. So his first tournament to get 4 fights, that's great, right?
What belt is this kid?
Yellow belt. Yeah. His first, he just tested for yellow belt the week before. Yeah, I know. I was like, okay, so we'll get him ready. Whatever. Let's go. So private lessons, man. So yeah. So hey, he's hooked. Yeah. He's hooked.
I mean, why wouldn't you be?
Right.
That's what I tried telling people. Like, you want your people to go see a well-run tournament at that level. Like, you want them to, because it's going to be great for them and you, because now you have a student, like you just said, hooked, right? Yep. But you have to make sure that we all have to work with each other and do our dang best to make sure that everyone has a good experience, right? Doesn't mean everyone's going to win. You just have to have a good experience. Like, you can get your butt whooped and still have a good experience, But if they do that, like, that's good for you, right? It's good for them, right? They have now a lifelong, potentially, activity that they're going to have because you exposed them to that. Like, everyone wins. That's great.
Right. Again, of course, there's so many different people that did great over the weekend. Some people who won open weights and stuff. Again, Malachi Randall is one of my favorites to watch fight. This is his first tournament on Top 10 USA. And yeah, he killed it on Saturday. And again, there were so many things going on. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was on the WAKO side mostly. So they had tag team sparring, which I'm gonna tell you what, tag team sparring on Friday was intense, man. It was wild. Those kids were going crazy. And it was fast paced. So that was fun to hear and see from that side.
Tag team sparring.
Yeah. Tag team sparring. You don't know.
I hate tag team.
Not a fan of tag team sparring? Okay.
No, because when you do tag team sparring and you actually get like the most skilled people to do it, they do things that are so incredibly hard that it's like they try tags that are out of this world difficult to the point where officials they can't comprehend what just happened, right? Because they're so athletic and they don't get the reward for that. So then they're like, why am I doing this thing?
Listen, I just think you're a hater. All right.
I'm not a hater.
Yeah, right? Hey, see, don't hate. His rules are different. Yeah, it was cool. All right.
Maybe I got the rules that wrong.
I think Malachi won with that one too. I tell you what, I'm sorry again, guys. I'm all over the place. I can't remember everything. All right. I'm trying. But yes, Tony Hansami Jr., they were the tag winners. There we go.
Oh, cool.
And again, Malachi had a great weekend.
what-
So did, Bill's daughter. There's so many great competitors. Like I said, Legend had a big group out there.
That's
Diamond
awesome.
G3 had a big group out there. Justice Floyd was out there fighting. All of his guys were there. So yeah, man, it was great.
What weight was Justice fighting?
What was it, 83? It was the same one as Mason. I know
I
him
don't
and
get
Mason.
that. I don't understand. But I mean, Mason, I get, because Mason, I mean, he's super skinny, right? Well, he's skinny now, right? For how tall he is.
Yeah, man, you guys were killing it. I already shared about how I love Damien, Java, and minus 84.
Yeah,
And
that's a freaking. If he can stay in that division, that's
Chris
amazing.
fucking-
Because
Yo,
isn't he like 6'4"? He's just free. That's so like, and he's pretty built, isn't he?
yeah.
I don't get that. How are you that tall, that built, and minus 84? You know what I mean?
Bro, I don't know. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
but stay there
There's
if you
a bunch
can.
of other divisions that are ways. I don't know. Like 84 to me, it's like that's in the middle. So
It is in the middle.
yeah. So I don't know. It's not that surprising that I remember Justice when he was like 130 something pounds. Okay. So
Yeah, but now he's 2 feet taller than that.
No, he was still.
He is not 6 feet, Will. There's no way that guy's 6 feet tall.
Yeah, he's
he
not.
is taller.
Oh my God. Here's Ibby, Louis Picky. These guys had a great tag division.
So
too.
what's
Both those
different
guys
about
were-
the tag team that Bill has? That's what I'd love to know. Like, what makes it a
Mason
little different?
fought 89 and 94. Okay.
Look at that. So Mason is 89 and 94. How in the world? Which that makes sense to me, right? So how in the world is Justice minus? I believe it because I mean he and his dad are gym rats, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right now.
Oh man. Thanks, Bailey. All right. So I'm gonna be honest, someone who stood out to me is someone who I mean, isn't a surprise, but it's just honestly, I just hadn't been able to just sit because I'm always doing so much at tournaments and I'm always competing, but just to really just sit and just watch Bailey fight. And I tell you what, that's a lot of times because I've seen him so much, like, okay, I'll watch him in the finals or I'll watch this or that. But just the speed, he's just the control over everything he does. I just think if more people need to go to tournaments to watch people like him, watch him, watch Tyson, watch Devin, watch these high level fighters, and really just appreciate it, right? Appreciate not just the athleticism, because it's way more than that, right? It's someone who has taken, the ball and ran with it, right? Someone who has really put their life and said, hey, this is what we're going to do, right? And yeah, it's so much faster, but it's also the control he has over everything and that he can do anything, right? And yeah, Tyson did great this weekend as well, Damon, you're right.
It's Jotty Tension is not slow, right?
No.
But people used to say that Jotty Tension was so crazy fast. And he would even be the first one to say, listen, it's not that my speed was crazy fast. I fought guys who were way faster than me. My timing was that good. All right. But Bailey is a track star.
Yeah.
Literally, he's of the fastest people that have 2 legs and race really fast. If you were just hey, there's a bunch of us who's really, really fast. That'd be me. Now I'm going to use that speed and do martial arts, right?
Yeah.
It's just blowing your mind, right?
And then
he has great timing. That's what's nutty.
Exactly. But a lot of people who have the fast speed don't take the time and the focus to learn the other parts of it. Say, well, I'm just faster than everybody else.
Because they can just be faster.
Right.
And there's plenty of there's a guy that we train with, right?
Well,
I'm going to say who he is, right? So Miles Bates, right?
Yeah, you've said this many
I've
times.
said this before. I'm gonna say it again. He's so fast that if he just decided, you know what, I don't really give a dang. I'm just gonna blitz every freaking time. He'll probably land 7 out of 10 of those. He's that fast, right? Like I have to run away when he starts, right? If I'm like, I want to ensure you don't hit me, I'm gonna run as you run, right? And I have a head start. That's how I'm gonna get away, right? But then there's other people like you just mentioned that are like, I'm gonna be better and I'm gonna be more athletic. And you're like, what the heck do I do with that now?
Right. Big shout out to Breon Rodriguez for winning the open weight.
Yeah, way to go. I saw that.
And Katana Everett winning the open weight for females. So great job. And yeah, hey, we need him on the hey.
It ain't 2014, man.
Hey, you notice, hey, I don't know. He said he wanted you as a competitor, not as a judge.
No. He did not say that.
Hater. All right. Anyways, it was a great time. I'm gonna tell you what, like I was impressed. I think again, it's just gonna keep moving forward. Big shout out to I've talked about all the different guys on the USA side that have helped. Don Rafi is someone as well that we need to give a big shout out to. Besides Bill and those guys, so it's gonna be great. Yeah, they do. So. Anybody else that you guys that maybe were a surprise to you or that stand out to you? For me, Friday, I love watching Andrew Aviles, do light contact. Larry Tankson Jr. was a lot of fun. There was a lot of different competitors out there. Larry Wells was out there. Breon. So many great competitors. Anybody else you guys know? I mean, Damian and Chris, they judged the whole time. Nick Kane was there judging and running mat action. So with his dad, and coaching students, it was wild. So, it was a great time. Yeah, man. Let's get to
I'm really glad that it's grown the way it has. And
Yes,
I'm not like, because I'm a huge fan of WKC, right?
Right.
I love WKC. I want everybody to be successful, right?
Correct.
I'm excited about what the WKU stuff does, right?
Yeah, me too.
Maybe one day that will get as big as WAKO or WKC.
It's just different. Well, the thing is the truth is, not everybody in Europe does WAKO, but it is the biggest.
It's just
not everybody does. So there is other realms, right? So there's still a huge following for WKU. There's a huge. This ICO thing seems like it's going to have a big following. There is a lot of people that are going to go to Norway for the World Games. There's a lot going on. So listen, I love it all. WKC, yeah, great. They had a super regional, 200 people, just black belts, just black belt competitors. Cool. That was a regional tournament. That's huge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Jack fought awesome this weekend. Super proud of him. And let's see.
But that's what I mean. Like,
and WKU and it's coming. Yep. There's so many different things, man.
They've all grown, and I want to see them all grow. I'm not like politicking right now, but I do truly, as a martial artist, want to see it grow. And yeah, Damien, the highest level is WAKO because it's the largest kickboxing organization in the world. Okay?
But it's also the way that it's set up is like the professionalism.
Right. And it's IOC recognized, right, and sanctioned. So it's a big deal, right?
And that's why for me, on the form side, that's why I'm going to start this next year and two is focusing on the sport Pumse side because it's IOC certified. It's within the World Taekwondo. It's the highest level, right? It's professional. So,
but then you got to do those choreo sidekicks. Can you you want to do those choreo? Plop, plop.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of going on in it, but I'll work on it. It's like that or sine wave. Which one? So, there we go. Anyways, I understand both. So, yeah, that's right, Drew. Yeah, everyone should feel comfortable competing at those. And,
great point.
Going after it. So,
And,
All right.
the more people do branch out and do more things, the more everyone wins.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Here's the deal.
Should we do the thing?
Let's go.
Let's do it. This is
Guys,
hard, man.
keep the list right now, man, because there's so many. I mean, I'm gonna tell you what, probably my number one was at the tournament over the weekend. So, you know,
What? Stop. No. Oh, well. Oh. Okay.
yes, you guys did open
So-
eyes. All right, top 5 ridge hands all time. Guys, start putting them together in your head right now. Put your top 5, and then we're gonna kind of. We also have some. You have some. What do you
I have
call
some
it?
honorable mentions.
But I also have some like ridge hand stories, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I
that's
got plenty of
one
those too.
That's one that I'm having a hard time with.
So there's so many.
Yeah.
I was telling Jeff, like before we started the show, right? The 1990s,
Yeah.
the
Right.
decade that it was. Everybody had an awesome ridge hand, right?
Yeah.
Right. I'm not a top ridge hand person of all time, but I remember at that time, like a check ridge hand, when you get an open stance, like a check, if you really can get it and you check, you pull that side kick through and whoom, and you ridge hand them and you just decapitate them. Like, oh my gosh, it just feels awesome. I had a match one time, and I'm not a great ridge hander where you hyperextend one elbow because you blast them so hard. And you're like, screw that. I want to do it anyway. So you switch sides and you do it with the other one because it's an awesome feeling when you do it.
It is awesome feeling. I mean, I learned it. Well, I watched great guys I'm going to mention in a little bit. But like, you know, like for me, even as a kicker, ridge hand was my go-to move like a lot of times even though like, which it didn't make much sense, but I just loved it, right? You just feel something when you dive into that and you just put your head down. You do the over top. It's crazy.
I'm gonna bring the hand pads out this week, and I'm a ridge hand. I'm gonna bring I got some Warrior hand pads in my bag that I've had since 2010. I got 15-year-old hand pads. Those things might break. They might fall apart on my hands. I think I wore them like one time and then put them in my bag. And I'm like, oh, what are these ASG things? Let me try this. All right. And then it was over from that point on. I'm like, I'm not going to bust my fingers on nothing. Really, my fingers already busted. All right. This is the thing. This is what hand pads will get you. All right.
You and Rocky both like, because Rocky is in the comments. His is the same way. His are all like this too. It was so funny.
People are like, oh, let's just go. We should just go back to hand pads. Really? You sure about that? You sure this is stuck forever?
Yeah.
This stays forever like luggage.
I like the hand pads, man, because you can ridge hand, but it's all right.
All right. It's grabbing.
I'm going to go first. All right. With my list.
Do your list. I got mine ranked.
I switched. All right. This one, I just a last minute change where I had him as in the top 5, but now I'm going to go honorable mention because I'm going to put this other person in the top 5. So one that is fun to me, and it's because he did literally one of the diving ridge hands, right? And he would do this a bunch.
Yeah.
And that was Jason Tankson. So he would do the diving ridge hand, and it was just fun to see him do that, right? And I think some people didn't expect it, but he would get low and be like, okay, well, you're not going to kick from here. Oh, crap, maybe you can kick from here, right? But the diving ridge hand he would do. Kyle Richards was a good one. All right, so that's an honorable mention. Rhonda Alexander. So Rhonda Alexander is an 80s, 90s fighter. She lived in North Carolina. I grew up watching her. She would just decapitate people with her ridge hand. Okay. So very old school, great fighter. So I put her in there. Another one that people may not, because again, I mean, he kind of did everything well, but Raymond Daniels' ridge hand was always fun, right? To watch, right? So
I'm so happy you said that.
All right. And especially in the 90s and early 2000s, he would do that, right?
Yeah.
So we got that.
Now he's on your 5.
Yes. It's Rhonda, Raymond, Ahmed Farouzi. I can't not have him on there, right?
100%.
This dude, especially, he's probably like the last one that
He is.
that still does
He's
it.
the last one.
Yeah. And yeah, Trevor had a good one. He would be on my honorable mention too. But I still, like think my nightmares of Trevor throwing a ridge hand was again at Ocean State's 2000 when he last second it's overtime and he chooses to do not just a ridge hand, but a ridge hand into a split while going against Brian Plimple, who has one of the best back fists of all time, right? Not necessarily going to work, right? So I just always think of that, right? So my top two for me, Thomas Wright. That dude had one of the best ridge hands ever. And number one to me is Marty Eubanks. So those are my ridge handers. To me, those two are like where I really learned how to throw a solid ridge hand. I mean, or from watching it. I mean, my school that I grew up at, we all threw ridge hands all the time. My instructor, Lawrence Arthur, Sean Elliott, even, would teach us ridge hands. David Scott had a great ridge hand back in the day. A lot of these guys. So Brian Ruth had a great ridge hand. So yeah, that is my list right there. I'll get into my stories after. You go ahead with yours.
Well, we got a lot of the sames, but I got some honorable mentions. I can't. This one's so good. You'd think I'd have more on like the last ones that we did, but
yeah,
I've got like 5 honorable mentions and 5. All right.
Okay.
So I'll go through my honorable mentions first. Ninja.
Yeah,
right?
Ninja had a good one.
Ninja had a good one. He had a mean one too, because he could throw it both front and back, although he threw it more with the back. Kyle Richards is on my honorable mention. The only reason I don't have him in my top 5 is I just don't think he did it enough. The times that he did it, like you didn't forget about it. Like you told stories about it, but it was like, yeah, he didn't win the whole tournament like as often as he probably could have, should have, because he didn't throw it as much, or he did it like from when he was actually on the other corner of the ring. Like, wouldn't this be really cool if I did this? Like, yeah, but don't actually do it. Right.
Right.
And then he'd score it. And then you're like, all right, well, don't do it again. And then he tried again and it would get scored on.
Right.
Joyce Blanco. Joyce Blanco, she had a good like front and rear ridge hand. Her style was really, really cool. Brian Ruth, he's my honorable mention. Now, it's hard to think someone would hit harder than Brian Ruth. But BJ Carnahan had a listen, I've seen this happen many times. I believe my nose is as crooked as it is a lot of the ways because of BJ's ridge hand. First time my nose ever got busted up was from BJ, right? He had this really weird, like if everybody ever noticed, like BJ would skip and would get away with it, like because he didn't have like a super fast kick. Like he'd skip and he'd look like his hands, like he'd have like a bad fighting stance, but like you jam him once. But you don't do it like over and over and over again. There's only certain people that do that. Like Jotty picked him apart. All right. But like he had a really good front ridge hand where all he had to do was like flick his hand and like he'd like break your nose. Right.
Yeah.
And especially if you fought in like a close stance, because he fought with his right side. So if you also fought with your right side, like you can't really block it. Right. Because it's coming here. So like, what do you have to go like push your hand to the side, or you have to switch sides. Right. So like he takes you off your game.
Right.
So those are my honorable mentions. Number 5, you mentioned him, Raymond Daniels, right? Raymond Daniels could be the top of whatever technique, right? He really could, right? But I mean, I had one, probably the closest we ever had a match with each other was 2000. We're in the Diamonds, and this was in the first of 5 days. Yeah. He's got 4, I've got 3. I see him go, and I'm like, oh, I could get this. I step back. My side kick touches. He's horizontal, right? So that side kick's not staying. And I realize it, and it slips, and I'm like, I'm freaking toast. And sure enough, I was toast. And he's like, literally, he gets horizontal. He was on top of me. I didn't remember Jason doing it as much as you said he was, but I was on the receiving end of Raymond doing that one. Number 4, I'm surprised you didn't have him on your list. It is Kevin Thompson.
Thompson. Yeah. I knew there was some older school guys that I was missing.
I
And
know.
that was the one, that was the one. Yeah.
But like, there's going to be a bunch of guys in the 90s, like I said, that like
Yeah.
we're going to miss. Like, I don't really think he probably was, but he probably had a better one than we were thinking. Like, but if you were to say Mike Pombero, right?
Right.
You probably go, yeah, probably, right? Just doesn't stand out as much, right?
Right.
Number 3, I got Marty Eubanks for all the reasons you mentioned. Heavy hands, right? Thomas Wright not only was the diving ridge hand, but like he had ones where he would like cock back, his hand would be like at his ankle and then would drop it.
Yeah.
And then my number 1 of all time, I also agree, was the last true one, is Hamid Feruzzi.
Yeah.
Hamid Feruzzi really, I believe, had the best ridge hand because he could dive, but he didn't. But he had the best possible one at 140 some pounds, 140, 145 at the most, right? Dropping heavyweights, right? Breaking faces.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why, like, I think of him and Marty in the same vein. Like, these two guys, not the biggest, but would hit people hard no matter what size they were going with this ridge hand, with their punch, whatever it was. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then like it kind of brings up like he's not as successful, not by a large margin, but we mentioned him like I think a couple months back, but like also from NK, Brian Speece, right?
Yeah.
We talked about that. I mean, that guy
He
super light. He might have been 130, all right?
Right.
And he just would drop guys too. So the top ridge hand, I mean, and everybody, thanks for chiming in the chat, guys, because you guys were right on. And stop with the hate, Damien. I did use my hands. All right. Maybe. All right.
So, enough. Alex, what have we decided what we were doing next week on this one? Let's get people riled up. So we did a fighting one this week. Last week we did a forms one. We did kind of both the week before. We want to do a forms one or a kicking one? Like for me, you know what I'm thinking right now? I'm thinking axe kick.
Like fighting axe kick?
Yeah.
Let's do
I mean, if we want to do, I mean, you don't really see a forms.
Oh, I know it. I got it. I mean,
there is, but I mean, there are some good ones. But axe kick list. You want to do that for next week?
Let's do axe kick.
Let's do axe kick. Then we'll do a forms one the week after. All right, axe kick is going to be fun.
This is actually going to be hard to rank.
Yeah, it is. It's really going to be hard.
And I'm going to have some honorable mentions here as well. It's so good. How can you not? Right?
Oh, I know.
Jonathan, we'll get back to forms. I promise we will. All right. Because we got some other ones that we've been talking about.
All right. So again, it was a huge weekend at Kumite Classic. Axe kick is awesome. That's another one I like to see more of.
Hey, I got
from not being there, what are some things you heard or some things that you're excited about? Who is it that you want to see at Dubai this year representing, like who are some of the names that you heard were there that you're like, okay, I'm excited to see them go?
Well, more what I was so excited about was the amount of buzz.
Yeah.
Right. That's really what it is because it's not like we got every single big name, right? But we got a lot, right? Yeah. And we got a lot to say, like, can our US team win? I believe so, right? I believe our US team can win. And I believe they will win. But there's not going to be without the hardest competition in the world. Sure, they're going to have the hardest competition in the world, but I believe they're going to come out with a dub. Now, I think that's the biggest deal. Like when you see like you mentioned, like when you see guys like Dwan Brown, he's just being there, right? Because his guy's there. Like this is a big freaking deal. Like when you're creating buzz for people just going to go, like come on now, right? This is awesome, right? Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like when you get guys like Chris and Damien and El Java, right, and Bill, and you get them on board with like we're going WAKO, like all right, the future's bright. Now when you get the athletes like Devin Hopper and Bailey Murphy and beyond, like this is a big deal. The future's bright. Because
look, so we had, last year we had a great team, right? Or the year before, with Devin and Bailey and Tyreek and Tyson, and now you're adding in Mason in there, You have Brayon that was in there, John Cortolo, all of these guys, and even more that are just continuing to grow. So I'm excited about it, man. I think it's going to be cool. I'm excited about the female side too, because
I saw
having
that division. I saw some of those divisions. Those divisions were
Paola,
stacked.
those guys. Yeah. So it's going to be really sweet with just the level. Oh, one more person I forgot to name as far as on Friday, and I think I named it too, or last year at Nationals, but seeing Robin LaBeouf fight kick light and light contact with those kicks to the head, just bombing people with those round kicks to the head. And I mean, dude, it's just awesome to see. And she's really evolved into that great kick light and kickboxer, actually. So pretty awesome to see that. So using those amazing kicks that she had in point fighting for that. So, yep, juniors in the DR, man, and Punta Cana, that's going to be awesome. So the juniors continue to grow on that. So,
yeah, that's the big deal. Okay, so next week we're doing axe kick, right?
We're doing axe kicks next week, man.
Hey, I got a thing. I came into like an observation like a while back. I think I texted you about this. Okay, so you already know. I filter everything from like a martial arts perspective. Like that's the lens I filter things through.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm at my daughter's birthday party. Okay. And I come to this realization that like kids' birthday parties are just like karate tournaments, right? How many conversations did you have? Maybe not you because you're nice, all right? Where you were just in the conversation and then you just turned around and left.
Yeah, that happens a bunch because there's
so much buzz, right?
Yeah.
So I'm there and like the parents are just there because their kids there. It's not like they're going to be there if they're not, right? It's just the same as a karate tournament, right?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, you're really fun to talk to, but like if my kid wasn't here, I wouldn't be sad at all if I never talked to you again, right? That's essentially what the karate tournament is, right?
Wow.
Tell me it's not, right? It's the same with a kid's birthday party, right? So I'm here talking, and like there's a group of people talking, and at one point they just get to talk about something nerdy, and I'm like, I might have even audibly said it. All right, I'm done. All right, and I just walked away. I don't think I did, but if somebody said, "Yeah, you said that out loud," all right, I wouldn't be surprised. But like I just was like, all right, Irish goodbye. And I just turn around and walk away. And I'm like, all right, this stuff is weird, right? It's a kid's birthday party. It's the same as a karate tournament, right? All right. Tell me I'm wrong though, Damien. Right? You're hanging out. Next karate tournament you guys go to, just wait. The first interaction you do, you can be like, oh man, how you been? And you're sitting there talking, and then just wait until if he just turns around and looks like that, that's your opportunity. Just be gone. All right.
Yeah.
And you know what they're gonna say? Nothing.
Right.
They're not going to say a dang thing because they're going to do the same thing to somebody else later.
My thing is usually at tournaments now is like Canel pulls me from it somehow. And it's like, all right, we got to go do this. All right, we got to do it. I'm like, all right, man, whatever.
He's a little different because he's like intentional. He's like a heat-seeking missile. Like he'll find you.
Yeah.
Like he moves like 100 miles an hour, but then like we'll find a way to like grab you and take you with him.
All right, so before we finish, some of the funny things about rules, right, that are different in different leagues. Because right now, we just did this, right? We just did the WAKO Worlds, right? I did the IKF point sparring. There's different rules there. I'm getting my team ready for their first AAU tournament for this season, which there's a lot of random different rules there, right? NASCA has rules. Every tournament I go to is different rules, right?
How you keep them straight.
Everything I'm getting ready for on the USTA and the WT side, different rules, right? But like today, I was going over all of my students the rules for AAU competition, right? Some of the things that are just funny, right? Okay, you can't have a red mouthpiece, right? All the other mouthpieces okay. You can't have red mouthpiece. Yeah, that's a big announcement we're gonna be talking about soon too. I got a text about that today too. USA Sport Karate and AAU are working together, so there's going to be an AAU Sport Karate. We're going to discuss that next week as a big thing. But
why can't you have a red mouthpiece?
Because blood would blend into it, right? So that's just something that we like never thought about, right? You're like, hey, that makes sense. Why is that not a rule? Okay, That makes sense, right? Let's
Yeah,
see.
you pointed out.
Can't wear a hat as a coach in WAKO, right? So Canel's had to keep getting told to take his hat off. I just kept giving him crap about it. Like,
Are
hey,
these rules like some of those weird state
you're
laws? Like
good.
some
I
like
just
some
kept
of them
messing.
have like you can't park your elephant on Thursdays.
Yes, there's that too. There's that. It's professionalism. Exactly. There. I
Yeah,
like it.
I get
But
it.
you got to give them some crap about it too. I mean, so for me the hard part is like, cause I had my gi pants on from time to time because I was going to do forms. And so I
No.
have to change my gi pants and put on windbreaker pants, or like, like I have my, to be able to coach, because you have to wear like a warm-up suit for that, right?
You have to wear a
With
warm-up suit to be a coach?
Yeah. So now in AAU it's different, where you have to have the AAU coach's shirt because you have to do the certification and everything. But you can either wear you can't wear jeans or anything like that. You could wear like windbreaker pants or white gi pants, which for me it's like a no. I don't ever want to walk around with white gi pants, right?
Correct.
Just asking for stuff to happen.
You're asking for bad things. Like you don't
And
even
the
need
thing
to
is,
eat
I used
anything
to
with
walk
ketchup.
around-
Ketchup will find you.
Yes, ketchup, mustard, all that. So
Yeah.
I usually walk around with like black gi pants, right? But I can't do that there because that's not really a traditional thing for there. So it's just funny, all the different levels, and it is all part of professionalism, right? But it's just
Maybe,
funny, right?
arguably.
Shit.
Like think about that. Oh, let's lean into that because I don't understand that. So you can wear white traditional gi pants or windbreaker pants. First
Yes.
of all, I don't even own a pair of windbreaker pants. It is
Yeah,
not 1993. I don't own a
not
pair of windbreaker
I mean,
anything.
like athletic pants, like I have like the Fabletics, nice ones that I wear at the gym and stuff, right? All right. So I mean, something like
Athletic
that.
stuff. You're bougie. You're one of those bougie gym guys, aren't you?
Dude, it's comfortable. That's all I'm saying. It's comfortable.
So, like, you can wear that.
Yeah, that's what.
So, like,
that's what you can
basically
wear.
athleisure wear.
Right. You couldn't wear jeans for WAKO. I think you can wear khakis for AAU, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, and it has to be like, I forgot what it was. It had to be a certain color of shoes too, or like tennis, something like that.
Shoes?
Yeah. I mean, I know UFC Sport Karate does. You have to wear black shoes to judge and black slacks. Yeah. So it's I just get confused from term to term. Which one? What is it I get to wear? What does I have to do? This and that. Because like one of the things that I like to wear my shorts. And I couldn't wear shorts in Florida as a coach because I had to wear the pants.
That's the one place where you want to wear them.
I do. I love it. I just think it's just funny just to, each tournament. I would love for all of us to get on the same page where it was all that. But
The
I like
shoes
it.
I'm interested in too. Like, what are the shoes? Like, can you wear like I understand like not wearing like slides, like sandals. I can get that. That makes sense.
Me too.
But can you wear like Vans? Can you wear like sneakers? Like, what is that? I don't know.
I don't
You know what they
man.
should do? This is what they should do, right? They should say, okay, you have to wear red, white, and blue Zubas.
Oh, God.
Okay. this should be the attire for when they go to Worlds. Red, white, and blue Zubas. All right. All right. What else? Big old sweatshirt that says USA. Right.
Right.
And then have like weightlifting shoes. That would be funny.
Man. Yeah. Well,
Or maybe like those Nike Air Monarchs, like the stereotypical dad shoe.
Yeah, it's just black shoes. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I like the standard. I like the standard and the higher standard. That's awesome. But yeah, it's just funny with some of that. Like for me, before it would be okay, I'm gonna wear khakis and dress shoes to go and coach, which seems like, man, I'm gonna be really in a lot of pain the whole time. But I can't do that. I need to wear like something more coach like, you know.
What about this? Can
Yeah.
you wear no shoes?
No, you have to put shoes
Wonder.
on. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. The
But like,
ages- yeah.
did you ever notice that some people do that where they judge and they're like, and I get it, where they got they got like the golf shirt, they even got like the dress
Yeah.
pants, and then they're barefoot.
Yeah. Yeah,
I-
that's always I get it.
And I get it. I get it because when you're moving and you're on a mat
Yeah.
and you're moving, like really, you don't really want your shoes on the mat anyway, right?
Right.
Like I get it. That's why, like if I'm judging, like, let me wear a sneaker that I can move quickly in, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever.
And their feet stink.
Yeah, but their feet, but look, there's 40,000 people walking around with no shoes on anyway.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things on that. Because I remember when I went to Kyle's tournament and Jeremy was like, no, I said, black shoes. Are we saying tennis shoes? Or are we saying black shoes, like dress shoes? Well, we
Whoa,
prefer
whoa, whoa.
dress shoes. We're like, okay, well, this is like hotel ballroom. I'm going to be sliding all over this carpet, right? And trying to judge. But it's funny, right? Yeah, David always be taking his shoes off.
David, as soon as I said it, I thought of David. But wait a minute, you just said something I thought was interesting. You said, what did you say? Tennis shoes?
Tennis shoes, yeah.
That's what
Tennis
they no, listen, in Minnesota, that's what they call them too. They call any kind of sneaker or shoe or whatever, it's tennis shoes. Out here,
white sneakers, Leandro. I think you may be right. That's why I remember being like, wait a minute, I have to bring my white shoes, not my black shoes. And it had to be a certain, I think it is white sneakers. I have to
sneakers is
retake
better anyway.
I have
That's
to
a
take
better
the judges, the coaches exam again. I have to do it every year. That they do online, and that'll remind me what they do. But
so wait a minute. So out there, you call them tennis shoes. Up north, they call them tennis shoes. Here, any kind of shoes you got, they're called gym shoes. You just like, oh yeah, gym shoes.
oh, yeah, gym shoes. Yeah, I have gym shoes. Yeah.
But like, no, it's the same thing though. Like you just say gym shoes, and it's the same thing. Right? It's just like a blanket for anything.
No,
right?
see,
It's like saying
not
it's like
that for
saying
me.
Kleenex. All right. But I think like out east, it's everything sneakers. There you go, Sam. Sneakers. Sneakers.
This guy wears sandals to judge.
Yuck.
This has been a fun way to end the show. It's just been awesome.
What do they call it in the West Coast?
What?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Like shoes. What do they call them there?
I'm not sure.
Come on, man. You're the world traveler. You're the one who's been everywhere.
I know, but it's been a while since I've been to the West Side, man. It's been a long time. A long, long time. Soda pop.
Soda pop.
All right, jokes to start on that.
Yeah, don't go there.
Oh,
That's a long one.
Yes, that is a long one. All right, I had something else I want to talk about, but it's all right. I'm sure we'll get it figured out next week. Hopefully I'll just
Oh, Brett, that was fantastic. Don't they all just wear Vans? Oh, that was good.
Oh man, that was good.
Chanclas. That's pretty good, Damien.
That is good. That is good. Oh man. All right. So we got lots going on. I may next week, lots of events. We're gonna have some fun topics. We may even have a guest. I still want to bring up, I don't know why, maybe I'm just beating a dead horse, but these rankings questions, it's just funny to me. I'm just gonna say this before we finish up. Some of the ISK rankings that keep coming out, it really confusing because it's just kind of like, oh, you weren't at this tournament, so let's just jumble this up and just completely, doesn't matter what you did the whole season or any other time, but it's almost like ADHD rankings. I wasn't going to say it, but I did. So
should we have someone explain why?
Maybe we should. Maybe we should. So
that's not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. All right.
Well, that's true, Damien.
That's true. Oh yeah. Oh, I agree. It's just kind of funny. All right. Are we ready?
Yeah, of course. Axe kicks are next week, guys.
Ask Kicker
This
next
has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you guys next week. John Cena turn heel. It's crazy. Go Cody Rhodes.